Hello and welcome back to another episode of Media Munchers. I'm Nathan,
And I'm Adrian.
and we have some news today. We're gonna go over some Netflix finally making some Overlord changes. We got some Apple news. We have an Avatar: Way of the Water trailer. I'm excited for that. And
Yep.
then in preparation for Top Gun Maverick, we actually watched the OG 1986 Top Gun. We have some thoughts on that briefly.
Yep.
And then finally, Multiverse of Madness. But we should get into it with our Muncher Minute. Big A, you want to click on that link for me and then turn the sound on for that video?
All right.
Hey, how you doing today? I got you for speeding. Do you have your license and registration?
No, I think you were speeding, sir.
You got me, man.
If only it was that easy.
Right.
Yeah, I just wanted to share that meme. So now I'm keeping an Uno card in my car at all times in hopes that I can do this.
Yep.
And hopefully I don't get shot over it, but we'll see. Should we get into the news?
Sure, yeah.
All right, cool. I'll start us off with it's a pretty big headline. A lot of people have heard about it already. But after 20 years, Apple finally discontinues the iPod Touch. It's the end of an era for sure, because why do you need a nerfed iPhone or whatever? You know what
Right,
I mean?
yeah,
Like,
just
your
for
phone.
music.
Exactly, your phone could do everything.
Yeah.
The only argument I could see for keeping it around was like it's a good starter device to get like a child hooked onto the internet or whatever, like the whole ecosystem.
Yeah, I guess
If you
so.
don't want to pay for like a phone plan, because I think they were going for
Right.
like 199 or maybe even 99 at some point, because it's just so old and so.
Yeah, but even then, like a lot of kids have iPads now.
That's what I'm saying. Kids have
Yeah.
better phones than me.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a quick story. So I was working I think it was this exact like phone, but I was working as a lifeguard it's like 3 or 4 years ago at this point. I want to say 2019. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just on break, it's hot. I'm just doing my thing. I'm trying to enjoy my little time I have in my back of the phone. And this
Right.
little girl comes up to me, a patron. She's like, "Hi, Mr. Lifeguard." I'm like, "Hey, how can I help you?" She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just like texting my friends or whatever." And she's like, "Why does such a big man have such a small phone?" And I was like, "Because this is all I can afford, kid. What do you have?" She like shows me her iPhone. It's like bigger than mine. It's like an
Damn,
iPhone
okay.
10 or something. I was like, "Are you for real right now? Get out of here. Go swim, but don't drown. I'm not on duty." So, but yeah, it was stupid, and I felt I'm still saving up, man. I'm still saving up. All right,
That's
one
all
day
good,
we're
man.
gonna be
Yeah.
there. One day, one day we'll
One
be
day.
there. Rest in peace, iPod Touch, and we all got started on it. I feel like I had a few different iterations growing up. Did you have any?
No, I didn't.
No, but I feel like a lot of people
I've
did.
always seen like kids have them. Like
Like,
the little square one.
Yeah, they like
whatever.
there was a shuffle. There was like a
Yeah,
little,
the shuffle.
There's a
Uh-huh.
nano. Jeremy had a nano. Had a camera on it. It was such a weird design choice. I was
Yeah.
like, what do we need a camera on this? And then I remember Kareem on the bus, like in 6th or 7th grade. He whipped out an iPod Touch, and I was like, "Oh,
yeah.
the future!" And then like I had to have one after I saw him. I was like, that guy was always bleeding edge. So it was great.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on to your news. Let's hear it, big man.
Yeah, so Netflix is planning on adding commercials at the end of 2022. It says here from the New York Times, Netflix said it lost 200,000 subscribers in the first 3 months of this year, which is the first time in a decade that they've lost that much.
Damn.
The Netflix executive said the advertising supported tier would be introduced in tandem with our broader plans to charge for sharing. So the same issue that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, with the passwords.
Yeah, with the passwords, how they're cracking down on that.
Cracking down, man.
Even more so than now, they're gonna add another tier separate from the $15 that is current.
Sure.
Where like we have like no ads and everything.
Yeah.
Now there's gonna be a cheaper price with ads.
I don't know. As long as it doesn't encroach on like the current plan, I say whatever.
Right.
But I don't know. But then also, how are they going to crack down on password sharing? Like I still have yet to see how it's going to be
Yeah.
implemented. Because like people are going to go out of their way to defy them. So we'll see. I'm sure some clever people are going to find out how to do like a local VPN and like share that IP with their friends, family. I don't know. I'll get into the nitty gritty. We'll see what we can do. It's finally coming true, man. Our worst nightmare. I'm gonna say this. After the pandemic hit and like we're coming out of it, it's just like no one's really at home anymore. Like we are, but like it's people are working and getting out of the house and stuff. It's just like there's gonna be less people on the platform at a time, like physically, unless you're watching Netflix at work. But I don't know who does that, but I don't think it's very many people, to be honest. So it's just like it feels like it's sinking shit, but it's just like you can't grow forever. Like, you know what I mean? There's a certain like threshold of people and like subscribers you're gonna hit that stay
Right,
like
yeah.
constant, So
Yeah.
anything that's like below that or a dip is considered like failure or that it's a sinking ship, but it's not going anywhere. They'll make changes and people still use Netflix, maybe just not as much.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder like when they add this tier, are we gonna see some kind of boost? or is it gonna continue declining?
I'm
Is it
not
gonna
sure. Yeah,
level out?
I have no clue. Like
I know.
I
I
feel like
wonder.
initially they'll lose a little,
Yeah,
but then they'll make
probably
their
yeah.
money though to stay afloat, and then people will get over themselves and just get used to it. I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe
I mean, would you do the ad version, or would you
only
try to keep with
it depends on how bad they are because Hulu is egregious. Have you
Oh
tried
yeah,
any kind of free Hulu? There's like
yeah,
3 minutes of ads every 5 minutes. I'm just like, what am I doing here? It's like
yeah?
not
It's
even
annoying.
enjoyable to watch content.
Yeah,
So if it's that bad, no, I don't think any. I think people would have to be forced to pay for the higher tier. There's no way you could do it. But if you're a college kid and you're really casual and like that's all you can afford, I think
mm-hmm.
it's a great way to do it. But the only way they're gonna get people to do that is either like they really have to crack down on the password sharing. Because like why would I pay for that when I can use mom and dad's back home? You know what I mean?
Right,
So
right.
they're gonna have to do both at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I also wonder, like, are these gonna be Netflix specific ads, or are these gonna be like the same ones on Hulu and
No, they need outside
YouTube,
revenue, man.
or what?
They need outside revenue. It's probably gonna be like I don't know how specific it's gonna be. They'll probably start pretty vague in general at first and be like
Mm-hmm.
nationwide ads, like not the company, but I'm saying like national ads
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like a bunch of vague stuff like maybe like cars and tech and like beauty. Beauty is a huge industry.
Uh-huh.
So maybe they'll start really vague with that and like see who their demographic is, see who's watching on what profile, and then
Right.
they'll go from there. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I do wonder how involved it's gonna be. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Because like potentially they could probably start advertising their movies more
They could,
on
but then
that
they'd
app.
be paying themselves to be like, you know what I mean?
Right, but
It's like,
like they could still like put it in there, like
oh, they will. I
right.
mean, Amazon does that at the beginning of their stuff. They
Yeah,
advertise their own stuff on Amazon Prime. They're like,
right.
now on Prime, whenever. So they want you to stay on there, and that's probably smart. They're gonna do probably Netflix specific, but I think they're gonna get some outside sources too.
Yeah.
They need that money. They need that money, big guy. All right, should we get into that trailer?
Yeah, yeah. Let's get into this.
All right, whip it out, man. Whip it out. Nice. December, my guy. We're gonna have to rewatch Avatar on Disney Plus just to get a.
Oh, it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is.
Oh, okay.
You didn't know that?
No,
It is on
but yeah,
Disney
that
Plus,
makes
my
sense
guy.
because Fox, right?
Yeah, because Fox,
Yeah.
exactly. No, but we'll have to check it out there and get refreshed and all that. Hopefully, they have some crazy remastered version or all
Right.
that. So James Cameron has like I think about 2 trilogies in the pipeline for this. He's got like a
Yeah,
two
he's
through like
making
5
up
or
to
6.
five. I
5,
think.
right?
Yeah, five
5
total,
right
including the
now.
first one.
Oh, including the first one?
I think so.
We'll double check that. We'll double
Yeah.
check that. But it's my understanding he's for sure got like a first trilogy and then like perhaps 2/3 of a trilogy down the pipeline.
Yeah.
What I wanted to know was how long have they been making this, man? How long have they been shooting this? Because if he says like
Since like 20, let's say 16 or 17.
right, so it's been at it for a minute, and it
Yeah.
looks fantastic. I mean, I was not expecting to see this world again. I was not
Mhm.
expecting a sequel ever.
Yeah.
So it was
Well,
kind
the
of
first one came out in 2012.
nah. I feel like it was earlier than that, bro.
Really?
I think 2009 is when it came out. Let's look it up real quick.
Nah. No. It
You
was
serious?
around the same time as Avengers.
It really was.
Pretty sure.
I don't know. Now I have to find out. The people are dying to know. Let's see. Avatar. Let's see how old you are. Let's see if you're dating yourself. Let's see. Avatar 2009. Sam Worthington,
Oh,
Zoe
2000.
Saldana. That's what I'm saying, man. This
Yeah.
thing's been away from us for a minute. And it surprises me that they're picking up with Jake Sully's story and Zoe Saldana because I was not expecting Sam Worthington to come back for this. I don't know. I just didn't expect any of this. But it looks great. We're seeing, of course, primarily the water world and stuff, but we're also seeing glimpses and glimmers of other places because apparently we're going to see like a lot of this planet, Pandora.
Yeah.
And I'm still with it. There's a lot of plot I'm fuzzy on. I've been watching some analysis and stuff, but it's just we'll see it when we see it. But I am interested to see what they do with these kids because I've heard people comparing it to a Star Wars situation where the parent story might end and then like the kids are supposed to take over and have their own little journey at some point throughout the sequels. That is
Right. Yeah.
so. Let's see where it goes. I'm kind of excited to have a whole new like lore to look forward to. You know what I mean? Besides, I love superheroes and stuff, but right now it's just kind of like it's a little saturated. Market's a little saturated. We'll get into that later. But there's a lot going on, and it's nice to have something else to look towards because I'm not as excited as I once was for something like Star Wars right now. I'm kind of like I have mixed feelings about what they're doing with a lot of their stuff. I'll still come
With
back
Star
to
Wars?
it. Yeah, in general, like especially the movies specifically.
Oh,
The
okay.
Disney Plus stuff's been like hit or miss, but
Yeah.
the movies I don't have much faith in them right now, and apparently they're doing 3 more, aren't they?
Of the
Star
saga?
Wars, yeah. Well, maybe not the Skywalker saga, but they're gonna do.
Yeah, because I think they ended that. But
I heard they're doing like a soft reboot of the soft reboot. I'm serious.
What?
Yeah, like
I don't know.
I don't know. So I don't know if they're
Yeah,
gonna pick up with Rey's story or not.
yeah.
But I mean, critically, I don't know. It's all over the place. We're not here to talk about Star Wars though. Avatar, my guy. What did you like about the trailer? Talk to me.
Well, I just found it interesting. Like it was very like serene, the trailer, and it didn't really. It wasn't like meant to get you excited, but it was more so just to get you to remember what it felt like to be in Pandora.
And
I
it
think
did it well.
That was, like it worked in that way for me.
Sure.
Like it was able to remind me what that world looked like. And I think the visuals, seeing it on the big screen when we saw Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Like that's when you're really able to see like how good the technology has come.
Seriously. And the underwater stuff looks great. I mean, just compare it to the obvious, like Aquaman. It's like they did their best there, but like this is what you take when you take your time and you really do it right. I mean, it looked real. It looked like they were down there shooting a freaking blue alien underwater.
Yeah.
So it looked great. I heard this is also going to be in 3D. Do you trust Cameron? Is it going to make you buy a 3D ticket again? Or would you rather just say it in 2D? Do IMAX?
I don't care about 3D.
You don't? Well, did you see it back then?
I don't remember it. Probably.
I did. It was nice. I don't think it.
Actually, you know what? I don't even think I saw Avatar in the theater.
You didn't?
No. I didn't know what it was.
Oh.
I was too young.
Too young, big guy.
But like everybody was talking about it. I just didn't.
When did you see it? On
like
streaming?
After. Yeah, like on like on DVD or something, or on TV.
On DVD. Nice. Yeah. Nah, it didn't do it justice, man. It was really nice in the theater. It was nice. Yeah. But
you think they'll replay it? They got to, right?
You think so? You think they're gonna have limited screenings?
After this long?
They should.
I think they probably should.
Well, he had a limited re-release when he tried to beat Endgame's box office.
That's right.
Remember that? What's to stop him from doing that again?
I mean, yeah, exactly.
We'll see. There actually might be some theaters that play it just to refresh you, like local small theaters or something.
Yeah, maybe like a double feature sort of thing.
That would be nice. Yeah. You're gonna need a huge intermission between that. These movies are long. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I wasn't expecting to. So
yeah,
let's see what they bring. Let's see what Cameron's got. Let's see. Should we get into Top Gun, my guy?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, Top Gun, 1986. There's not too much to break down here, but there's some things to talk about. It was such a period piece. Like I didn't realize how 80s this movie was.
Yeah,
that was crazy. The one thing I did enjoy was the use of like popular music at the time, but the overuse I didn't enjoy so much.
Yeah, there were like what, 3 songs?
There was like maybe 3 or 4 songs in the entire soundtrack, and they kept reusing that same well like maybe 3 or 4 times each. It got ridiculous, especially with the romance scenes. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
That was too much. But starting from the top, we're showing the fighter jets, we're showing what we're here for, what we're butts are in seats for. And all of that was nice. I really enjoyed it. They got they got permission from the Navy or whatever, and they used real fighter jets. Obviously, no CG, or at least not like not like we have now. You know what I mean? They had to do all that. There were stunt fighter pilots and all that.
Yeah.
And can you look up for me real quick if Tom Cruise actually did his own stunts in this movie? If this was the genesis of that or not? I feel like he did, but
oh, you think so?
I feel like he might have, right? Or at least some of it. Not maybe like the crazy maneuvers. Like I doubt he did that. What was it called? Like the weird nosedive. They did like a stall. It was like a black stall or a black. Yeah.
Oh.
They stalled and they were about to crash and they had to eject.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what that was called.
I don't know.
Rip my boy Goose. Anyway, yeah. Spoiler for a movie that's like 40 years old or something. Huh. But yeah, the movie was nice. Yeah, they had some Tom Cruise isms. I felt like a lot of his stuff was born here, like the motorcycle riding and maybe like the aviators. But yeah, definitely the aviators. He's definitely done that in other movies. But yeah, the action was really spread out, really few and far in between. But when it was there, it was nice. There was like a big climax at the end after they'd gone through the ringer with the whole training with their boys, which there was a lot of sexual undertones between those men.
Yeah,
a lot. I don't know if that read as machismo back in the day, but it did not read like that today. I was like, it was kind of some unspoken feelings going on here.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird, but hey, man, to each their own. My God, the romance was way more than I thought it was. I saw this like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I did not realize how much of a chick flick it could be at times.
Yeah, it very much felt like that. It felt more akin to like 16 Candles than it did to what I thought it would be more like Saving Private Ryan or something.
Yeah. It was like a part-time franchise feeling kind of movie, and then not really. It was just kind of like a coming.
Yeah.
It was like a romance. Yeah, That was interesting. Yeah, good analogy. The soundtrack, like we talked about, was good, but it was really overused. That one song, every time they did a romance scene, it was just like kicked right in. And
Yeah.
even when it wasn't a romance scene, they were like, there was a time where the whole crew was like watching, basically the equivalent of film. Like they had data from their fight training, and Charlie, right? She's like she instructs the fighters and like how to be better fighters and all that. She's got some clearance and all that.
Yeah.
And we get the lore too of like Maverick's backstory, who's played by Tom Cruise. We get his like how his dad was a fighter and then he was a good fighter, and we find out later that he died like saving a bunch of other fighter pilots in this crazy mission back in the 60s. There's also at the end, I know I'm jumping around, my bad, but at the end there's a contradiction and I want to talk about it. At the very end, Maverick's like, I want to be a teacher. Remember that? Were you awake for that part? At the very end, he says he wants to be a teacher. But in the trailer for Top Gun Maverick, he's like, oh, I'm no teacher, sure. That's just a warning.
Right.
I was like, what are you doing here? I saw the first one. You made me go back and watch it. So I don't know if that's like a little fake out. He was secretly been a teacher for these years, or maybe he hasn't. He's got a new wife in the new one in the trailer. Yeah, no McGillis. Sorry, she's retired now. But this movie had some moments of heart and stuff. But other than that, it was like you said, it felt kind of weird. It felt kind of like 16 Candles ish. I was just kind of like, this.
Yeah, it was very like mid.
Yeah, it was just really dated.
Yeah.
I'm glad to say that the most
for
exciting
all the hype
parts,
that it kind of felt like it had, like it didn't like get me in the right way.
No, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Yeah, I understand. Understandably, the only part that got me was really just the action sequence, scenes, and they made us wait really long between those.
Yeah.
It was good stuff. Hopefully they do more. Maybe it's a juicier script. Hopefully Tom Cruise brings more of that franchise energy to this next one.
Yeah, I really do wonder like how modern, like how tied to the first Top Gun Maverick is gonna be.
I suspect it's gonna be somewhat tied because they have Goose's son.
Right.
And there's gonna be like tension there.
Yeah, but in terms of the tone, like how similar will it be? Or is it gonna be more of like that action, like how we would normally think of
like a Tom Cruise movie?
Yeah, for a Tom Cruise movie.
I think there's gonna be action's gonna be at the forefront, and then they'll try and have like some heart on the side. Whereas it was more like a 50-50 mix in the old one. You know what I mean? Because there's gonna be, like we said, tension with Goose's son, and then there's also gonna be like homages being paid to the first one for sure. Because I mean, they even have in the trailer a new like volleyball beach scene.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, how's this one gonna play? I think it's just there purely for the nostalgia, obviously.
Probably.
But like, I don't know how much more it's gonna go further than that. You know what I mean? So hopefully it is its own thing while still paying homage to the past. But we'll see.
You think they're gonna like joke about those jokes that they made between the pilots?
Homies? I don't know, because now there's female fighter pilots in the mix. Not that they're gonna share a locker room or anything, but like how much of that kind of talk can you have nowadays? You know what I mean? It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah,
we'll see. I don't know. There's only so many things, so many remarks you can make like that. So I wonder how they're gonna tiptoe that balance on a modern 2022 Top Gun movie. Did you know? Hold on, I have some trivia from the first one that's hilarious. Did you know that there's a real Top Gun school like that's based on a real place?
Oh, okay.
And furthermore, if you mention the movie like at all, any quotes, any reference to the movie, it's like a $5 fine automatically, and every time it stacks up. So you could get fined like $100 for bringing it up. Like I don't know, 20 times in a day or something. I didn't realize that was a thing. That's awesome though.
That was weird.
Yeah, it's weird trivia, but I love it.
They're just that annoyed.
Yeah. I would equate it to like running a skydiving school, and then some idiot keeps singing like Free Falling all day, every day. I'm sure you're tired of that song.
Sure.
Like we get it. We know what we're doing here. You don't need to bring it up. You know what I mean? So I wonder if all the names are like off limits too. Like you can't have a fighter name like Maverick or Goose or anything. Like nah, those names are off limits. You can't do that. So, but like you said, I mean, overall it's pretty mid movie, but it gave us the context we needed to go into the next one. I feel like, or at least more of an appreciation for all the fan service they're gonna throw in there. So
yeah, I think so.
But yeah, it's all right. Take it or leave it, whatever you want. We'll take a small break, and I guess when we'll be back with Damien, and we'll talk some Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Catch you on the flip side. Let's see. Sophie, what are you doing? Ruining my podcast. We're back, and we're joined with my little brother, Damien. Say what's up.
Hi.
All right, cool. We're gonna get into some Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
I guess we should start it off with like a quick little spoiler-free recap if we can. We'll do our best. There's not much you can say.
Yeah.
Long story short, the movie is essentially about Doctor Strange meeting a multi-dimensional traveler by the name of America Chavez. She has the power to rip through any multiverse sees fit. It's essentially them facing the multiverse. We'll get into that. Not really. It's like a few universes,
Yeah, like a
and
couple.
it's a couple. It's them facing that while running from demons, if you would, and whoever's chasing America Chavez and her abilities. That's
Right.
the movie in a nutshell,
Right.
with some stuff here and there. With that out of the way,
Well, I mean, we could mention that Wanda is.
Wanda's in it. I mean, like they have to seek help from her at some point, so she plays a role in it. But like, how big of a role remains to be seen.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll go with that.
We'll go with that. That's about it. Go see it if you haven't already. We're gonna get into spoilers. Should we start from the top?
Sure.
Let's get into Strange's personal life after the events of Endgame, Damien.
After Endgame?
Well, the beginning of this movie. How did you feel about him losing the girl?
Oh,
like no Christine for him. She's getting married.
Right.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
How did you feel about that entire plot?
Yeah,
point?
that was his whole story.
That was sad.
Well, it wasn't his entire story.
Well, in terms of like his major arc was
it like dealing with the loss of love.
tipped off from that.
Sure, it definitely was the nexus for the for his part of the story.
Yeah.
But it felt like it was touched upon throughout the whole movie, but like not as much. It was more of like a C plot, honestly. It was his plot was like kind of a backseat in the grander scheme of things.
Yeah.
So like I kind of wanted to know how you guys felt about that specifically.
It was more like a personal arc for him. Like,
yeah.
Like closure.
Sure.
Like,
do you think he gets that by the end?
I think it's worse because like him doing that multiverse jump, it's like now it's like set in stone that they were always like destined to have history and like kind of always like be good for each other.
Sure.
And then in history, they're fated to never be together.
Well, it's not that they're fated to never be together, but it seems like more often than not, he's too busy playing superhero while she's too busy like trying to do her normal work, and there's always some element of danger that prevents them from being as close as they could be. You know what I mean?
Right. It reminded me a lot of Spider-Man, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
Yeah, I can't be with you, MJ. Too dangerous. Get a little cool call to action where he like leaves the wedding and he's dipping, and he's got to go like save the city again. That's very gray New York this time around.
I also really like that we got to see Doctor Strange jump into action to save the day. That was really fun.
It was really nice. I really enjoyed the whole sequence. I was like, okay, cool. And there was a lot of action. It wasn't just like a kind of a we beat him up in 2 minutes and it was over. Like no, it was an extended fight. Sorcerer Supreme Wong had to show up and handle it and try and help out too. So it was nice seeing the two of them getting some shenanigans in New York. It was also interesting seeing how a beast from a different realm isn't seen by the public. There was a whole point where he had to like weave a spell in order to be visible, like see what's causing the damage in the street.
Right.
People were just running from nothing.
Yeah, because they just hear like the crashes and
like cars being flung around.
Yeah, they see those things.
And some girl probably being grabbed and flung invisible in the midair.
Yeah.
That's literally what people in New York are saying. Yeah.
Well, yeah, when that bush was being crushed, it was like standing upright.
Right. Exactly. Just like in midair, and then it got like separated by one of Strange's spells.
Yeah.
One thing about this movie that I enjoyed is that they showed more of his magic, and they didn't necessarily explain every little thing he did. But it was like, oh, what else can he do? He can do this. He can do that.
Yeah, and they got really creative with it too.
Extremely, and I like that. What I have a question. We're jumping around. Later in the movie, he uses the Eye of Agamotto, but this time without the time stone in it because it was destroyed. Right.
Right.
What is it like a? I wonder what the extent of that thing is. What's inside of it? Is it just part of a spell? Is it for looks? Is it just like a spiritual lock picker? Because he was trying to do it to get into that door. Later, so I was wondering what the extent of that was.
They didn't really go too much into it. I wonder if maybe they're saving that for the third, because like he ended up having the eye,
of course,
on his forehead after for all that. I don't know, in the comics, the Eye of Agamotto is supposed to be like its own thing. It's not really supposed to be just a housing for Time Stone. I don't know that it was in the comics for that, but
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean, I assumed it had something to do outside of it, but I just didn't know the full extent of what it could or couldn't do.
Right.
It's a nice amulet or whatever it is. Quick little thing from the top. I guess a pun of sorts. Not really. Did you notice that it was kind of like a Mother's Day weekend-ish release, and it's like Multiverse of Madness, Mom, and there's like a big old theme of like Wanda just wanting to be a mother in this movie.
Yeah.
I didn't put any of that together until after I watched it.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
How much of a coinkydink do you think that was?
That it was released on Mother's Day weekend too,
and then the title is Multiverse of Madness, which makes an acronym of Mom,
I
or close enough to Mother's Day weekend.
I think that Sam Raimi's just that good.
He's just that good. And then the whole theme of Wanda wanting to be a mom. Wow,
it was a fire name.
So many layers. Yep. Oh man, that was a coincidence. That'd be a huge one. There's a lot going on. Pretty much after all the shenanigans happen, and we get introduced to America Chavez in the 616 universe, and they're Wong and Strange are trying to figure out what to do with her. Who's chasing you? What's going on? Who's after you? Let's go seek another really powerful magic user for help. And of course, they go to see Wanda, and she's
Yeah.
seemingly like living her Zen life on some sort of weird farm or something with cherry blossoms and goats and stuff running around. And it turns out, long story short, she knows about her. And he's like, I never said her name, and I was like, ooh, here comes
Yeah.
the horror elements. Let's see it. Let's see it. And
I like how subtle they were able to play it.
yeah,
It's like you didn't quite know whether Wanda was telling the truth. Like I felt like that whole plot where she at the end of WandaVision, how she kind of was getting into the Darkhold, and then that scene happened between her and Strange. She had said that she wasn't into magic anymore. Like she was done using it.
right.
I thought, that was a good chance of them possibly just skipping over that, maybe saving it for WandaVision. But it was like a good like trick, like pull the rug.
Little slight Hannah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I enjoyed about it is that you didn't really see it coming until the very end. When she was like, right before she tips her hand or whatever, she's like, she can come stay here. Like, just bring her here. It's all good. Like, no
Yeah.
worries. And I was like, it's kind of weird. Like, why would you want to bring her there? Some goat farm.
I
don't
didn't
know.
hear her say America when Strange was like, or when she had the realization of, you didn't tell me her name.
It was like,
I was like, you
it was
said
in
it?
passing. You remember that? You saw it twice.
Yeah, she did. I think it might have been like through her, like when she's flipping between her accent and not having it.
Same.
So she might have
What's
had
up with
it-
that? Is it
had
intentional
on.
or not?
I don't know. It might be intentional. It might be like lingering
Like, yeah.
from WandaVision or something. I
Right.
don't know.
I wonder how much of it, how much of her motivations are also tainted by the Darkhold's effect on her. Like, is
Right.
it all her? Because at the end of WandaVision, people could argue like, oh, like she was a bad person, she did bad things, but like she didn't mean to. It was subconscious. Da 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 da.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's
that's
excuses
very
being
much what it
made.
felt like.
So it's just like, I think they could take it either direction. Another thing too that I read, Elizabeth Olsen at times felt like snuffed out for other roles because she's like in this contract with Marvel that she couldn't get out of for the past I don't know how many years, 8+ years since we saw her in Civil War or whatever, and or actually Age of Ultron. Age of Ultron was the first time we saw her.
Yeah.
So anyway,
2015.
wow. So now that she's like coming towards the end of it, I assume with this, do you think that by the end when she throws all the rubble on herself that she's not coming back? Like they killed her off so she can go do other stuff? No.
She did sign on. Like she did
More?
renew a contract, I believe.
Do you know how long it goes?
I think like 4 movies.
Past this?
I think so.
Wow.
Something like that.
She's not going anywhere.
I mean, they did announce WandaVision season 2. No,
They did?
Maybe.
I've not been paying attention to that.
maybe.
Well, if they do, I wonder what that's gonna look like.
I was
exactly.
saying like it's standard because like it's Disney. Like they did the same thing to Kingpin and Hawkeye.
That's true.
Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
they
no
didn't
one-
show them dying physically. So
Yeah.
I'm like,
No one's ever really gone.
oh
through that.
man, I wonder if they're dead. No.
What does that say about stakes? Because let's get into the Illuminati real quick here. After they're jumping through the multiverse, and we get a taste of like all kinds of stuff from animated universes to like futuristic looking ones, to all kinds of stuff. Looks really
Mhm.
great, visually stunning. CG's on point in this movie. We get to a universe. I think it was like Universe 800 or something. I don't know, but it's one
Where he gets that Christine or whatever that version of his girl.
with the redheaded Christine,
Yeah,
yeah, who named all the multiverses apparently in that universe. She's like
Mhm.
they're really advanced over there. The Illuminati is like it was chock full of cameos. I mean, I'm sure you like the cameos, but also it goes into like the trailers gave away quite a bit, didn't they? You
Yeah,
know?
they
The
did.
And like that,
trailers did.
I think that hurt the expectations of this film a lot because it would have been wild if they didn't tease the Illuminati at all. And then, whoa, what are all these people? But like we
Yeah.
kind of got a hint of all that, especially Charles Xavier,
Yeah,
even though it's
Yeah.
not the version from
Oh,
Fox.
he was in the trailer.
His voice was.
yeah.
Yeah,
he had-
that's what I'm saying.
Well, I
got,
didn't see
like,
the
a
new ones
shoulder.
because I saw it on Instagram and like I threw it
Swiped
away
away,
fast.
yeah.
But I did see that Captain Marvel was in it. But it surprised me when it was like that.
Maria
Yeah,
Rambeau, yeah.
Yeah, it was her friend, right?
Yeah, it was
Her pilot friend.
yeah, it was her pilot friend.
I was like, oh, so she got it instead of Brie Larson,
Which is
so-
totally valid because different multiverses, different things. I get that.
uh-huh.
But and then we also see like Captain Carter as she becomes the first Avenger, right? As can take the role of like Captain America, right? All that.
I thought she was
Yeah.
silly. I thought she was silly.
Yeah, that felt really silly.
It did feel weird because
It
I
felt
thought it was
forced.
I thought it was the What If version, and it turns out it wasn't.
Oh, it wasn't?
It wasn't. I mean, obviously,
Really?
I mean, no, it really
I
wasn't.
mean, obviously, there's so many versions.
There's so many versions,
every-
of course.
yeah.
You could
It's
just write it
it's
away.
infinite. But
Exactly. But I thought that
Why-
would have
why
given more of
wouldn't
a connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like to all of that, but no, it has nothing to do with it. And by the end, it makes sense because they all just totally get wrecked by
Mhm.
by Wanda.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Yeah.
It was nice seeing the Ultron bots. It was nice seeing Reed Richards, John Krasinski, all that fan casting came true. That's cool.
yeah, it
but-
just felt like too much fancy.
No, but it felt like I see what you're saying, but to me, it felt
Yeah.
like fan service, but then it was revoked like immediately. It was like, no, we're not gonna do anything with them. Like, yeah, they solved.
Well, that's why I feel like it was like poorly served fan service.
I see. It
'Cause,
was more of just a tease, like a colossal tease of like,
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was too, because they were like, how cool would it be to like incorporate these different Marvel characters, like, and show off like one of their abilities for each of them, but then like not do anything with them.
right.
It's like, oh, we saw Xavier's power for the first time on a big MCU movie. It's like, yeah, but no, he's dead.
But he's dead. Exactly, and I think that's where a lot of disappointment comes because it's like one of my issues with this movie is that it's many different things. It's like it's really multifaceted, and it's like a bunch of different stories, plots, and expectations all over the place. Like if you don't get the right combination of what you wanted and what you came to see it for, you're gonna be disappointed. And because there's like 5 different things you could come see this movie for, it's not enough of one thing for most general audiences to be completely satisfied and satiated. You know what I mean? At least that's the way I see it. Like there was a lot of people who were like, "Damn, like Wanda was like half this movie." It was like, well, it was nice to see a hero as the antagonist, right? And, like all that, how that got flipped on its head. But I felt like they could have shown they showed enough of her motivation for normies to like jump in and still appreciate what's going on. But for like diehards, I'm like, we saw all this in WandaVision. Like we get she's tormented, we get she's coming from like it almost at some points was like, okay, we get it. Like she's hurting. Like let's see her fuck more shit up. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I just felt like we lingered a little too long on the emotional, but she was great.
I
I mean,
I think it's
Yeah,
to add
that's-
to the depth of her character because she lost like the only person that like she loved and like understood her,
Mhm.
like literally, because she came from like his stone.
she's literally tormented. You know, and one thing too is that she was reasonable. She's like, this is me being reasonable, and that was great for horror. But like, I felt like she didn't get unhinged enough. But I think they were trying to keep her more sympathetic than not.
Well, because she couldn't
maybe.
go berserk because she still needed everyone alive because
That's
she
true.
told them like,
Yeah.
I just want to see like my kids. She's not for world domination.
That's true.
It's
That's
just for
true.
selfish needs or her
Yeah.
desires. I mean,
That's another thing with scaling too, is because like I don't think you should treat this movie as more than this like kind of a. I don't want to call it standalone because it's not really that, but it's more of like it's supposed to be more focused on Strange and like the things that come with that and stuff.
Yeah.
And not just him, obviously, but the world surrounding him and more like a focused narrative. But it's splitting off and it's setting up so much that it's hard to view it like that. It feels like this is like just a small episode, and like we still have a lot left to see, and for a lot of these payoffs need to be they still have yet to become like they still have yet to come.
Yeah.
So it just feels like we're really being teased like colossally. Like I don't know, as a standalone, it's not something I'd go back and be like, oh wow, what a great like entrance, because it's not what it is. you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Going back into it the second time, for me, it was more fun watching it just because I already understood what was gonna happen.
Mhm.
But it's not one of those movies for me that expands like my interest.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. The novelty wasn't amazing. I was just like, okay, cool. Like I feel like
Yeah.
they didn't do as much as they could, but I think they're saving it for something bigger down the line, maybe like a Secret Wars or like a larger Avengers. Like,
Maybe, yeah.
but like it was just kind of like it wasn't like a multiverse of madness. It was like a stroll. It was like an anxious stroll through the multiverse. You know, it wasn't like this
Yeah.
crazy thing where we saw a bunch of different crazy wild places. It was like one little montage and then like let's focus up.
It would have been fun to see like Wanda mess shit up in other universes.
Thank you. Yeah,
And like
other
have that,
Avengers
like
come.
have that whole thing just turn into a giant like disaster.
Yeah, and like how do we clean that up? How do we address that? What are the larger multiversal implications on that? Is there some sort of multiversal Illuminati that comes in like you can't be doing this? Like a
Yeah,
TVA,
yeah.
where were they?
Right.
How does that work? In
Because then the
post-
stakes are raised, like,
Yup.
and then
Right.
like it would be fine.
that
Like
would
that
be a
whole story.
beautiful disaster.
Same. But I don't think they would have gone there because it's not an Avengers movie. They try to keep like a lid on something that's so
Yeah,
huge, and like they're really trying to
they
keep the
couldn't
reins
like
on it.
make
You know
the
what I mean?
stakes. Yeah, because it's like when you make the stakes that high of multiversal,
Then
like,
there's questions,
things,
like-
and then it's like Hawkeye taking down some drug dealers. It's just, you know.
Yeah,
Just-
definitely. We also
Oh.
got a glimpse of I believe it was the Living Tribunal. That was one of the multiverses.
Oh,
those,
did
Those
we?
big 3-headed dudes. Yeah, we saw them
Oh.
briefly.
Damn, I missed it.
Man, you gotta go back and see it again, man. I made a mental note of that. I was like, that's cool. I'm glad. I can't wait to see these cosmic beings. But I think
Yeah.
I have
we're
a
gonna have to
question.
wait to it. Yeah, what's up?
You know how Wanda, like in WandaVision, like manifested her kids in Vision. Like,
Sure.
I get it. Like, maybe it could be stupid because it's not really a theory. It's just like the same kids that they casted. But I was saying it's the same exact kids from like a parallel dimension,
Sure.
like that look exactly like them.
Right.
So I'm like, how can her powers do that? Like manifest like other kids of like other multiversal kids. Like,
Well,
how is her powers able to do that?
I think I have a quick question. A quick answer to that. I think it has to do with the logic that they set up in this movie, which to me is a little bit problematic about how dreams are really glimpses into multiversal like events. It's you from other
Mm,
multiverses and stuff like that.
right,
Remember that?
right.
I think that's problematic because if the multiverse didn't crack wide open until Loki and or the events of No Way Home, right? Like then
Hmm.
did no one dream before then? Or if you want to argue that the TVA and Loki stuff is outside of time, then it's always been cracked, but then it never was before. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
gets really wonky really fast. But on that note, whatever the logic is, I feel like Wanda may have seen them in her dreams, and then along with her grief, she used the power of I guess enslaving people, like
That's
the energy from
wild.
enslaving the people of Westview to
Uh-huh.
manifest both Vision and her kids. I think that would be like the roundabout justification slash logic for that.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think? Is that more or
That
less?
sounds about right, I think.
More
I
or
thought it
less.
was just because
Yeah.
Marvel's like, I mean, no, like the old fans from WandaVision, like those aren't her kids. Like if you had like some like random like brown kid up there, or like
Same.
a tan kid, or like a Latino, it's
Oh, you're
like
asking why they look exactly the same?
yeah.
Oh,
I'm
well,
Oh.
yeah. I mean,
Does
more
look the
often than
same.
not, you're gonna share similarities, a lot of similarities, with slight differences to your multiversal doppelgangers. And yes, there are universes where I'm sure she has black kids, Indian kids, whatever. It's just not relevant to the story at hand. It's a lot easier to
Right.
have an emotional connection with the kids you just saw in WandaVision.
Yeah, okay.
Also, like the Wandas that they were looking at all looked like
Just like her.
her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in Loki, how they have the frog Loki,
Yeah.
the
Isn't there alligator Loki?
alligator Loki, right?
Yeah.
It's frog Thor.
Frog Thor, yeah.
And then like the black Loki.
You're right. There are other
There are
Lokis.
they're
yeah.
different actors to play
Yeah.
those.
But
I
that's
think
just
I think
So yeah,
would
it's probably like one of those situations.
just wasn't relevant to the
Yeah,
particular-
like it's not far out enough into the multiverse for
differences like that.
that much of
Yeah.
a difference.
Sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What were you saying?
I forgot what I was gonna say.
It'll come back to you. Another motif, if you would, is going back to Strange's whole plot, his 616 Strange rather.
Oh, I remember.
What's up?
I thought it would have been cool. Like, remember when where America opens like that blast to show like the kids, the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was in that scene, like it was like nighttime, and she was just throwing the other Wanda like across the kitchen, and I was like, "Where's the husband?" Like, I understand like if he's out, but it would have been cool if like it was like a character from our MC universe, and it's like Tony Stark running down the stairs, or like humanoid version of like Vision or something.
Vision. Yeah.
That
That begs the question: who would it be?
Yeah,
Is
who
it
was the
Vision?
father?
Is it
Yeah.
Vision in most universes? Is
I would assume.
Is it a Westview thing where like
But
he's
yeah.
out of the picture, he died, but not before they had kids?
Mhm.
Yeah, something like that.
Infinite questions. But I think they left it out on purpose.
Right.
because It's not
Yeah.
relevant to this particular story.
Like I
What's
get
up?
it, like love is love, but I'm like, but he was a super intelligent robot, so I can't blame her.
Same.
I was gonna say because it wasn't even a human. I'm like,
Humanoid.
it was it's human. It's yeah.
Yeah,
Because I was like, it
vibranium.
was like the same as like a human almost. So I was like, okay, I guess so.
Listen, I'm not about to get into the genetics of how
That's all I'm
human
saying.
robot love works. That's beyond the scope of this podcast. But
Yeah.
but going back to the whole motif of like, are you happy? They dropped that in like 4 or 5 times. Like, it's positioned as a question to Strange the whole
Right,
film,
right.
and in the kind of the bottom line is that he's like lying to himself and all that
Mhm.
about what he wants. And my question to y'all is, do you think he gets that definite closure by the end? Like, I know he has that little handshake moment with redhead Christine,
Yeah.
but like, is he all good? Like, is he gonna ever find love again? Or does that not matter? Because he seems like ready to go into the next adventure by the end of the movie when he gets that third eye from messing
Mhm.
with the Darkhold and
Yeah,
and,
no,
um,
I don't know. It didn't really feel that way.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't get the closure, so I'm like, did you, Strange?
If the
Yeah.
if the Darkhold does the same to Wanda, it would embrace his desires. So as you saw the other one who had the third eye,
Yeah.
what is it? He told him to leave your Christine here and I'll give you the book.
Yeah, but
So knowing Strange, like if he were to like continue down the third eye path and he would turn rogue, he might abduct Christine all to himself. You know.
same. Maybe, but I don't think he'd do that. But that
May-
would be interesting if he turned into.
I'm
like,
just saying on the
villain for third
Strangers,
one.
like because I talked about Big A after the movie. I was like, Big A, he got the third eye, and he was like,
But does that necessarily mean he's gonna be straight up evil, or does it mean the potential's there?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know
I
either.
don't know how that works.
well, because they hinted at Strange.
they
being,
didn't really like go into like what the eye is.
That's true.
Like I don't even know why it's such a big deal that Doctor Strange has it.
Well, because the idea of like Strange was they're all the same across a multiversal platform, and that was the purpose of this movie, is to show that this Strange is different.
Right.
But then like at the end when I see him has the eye and crap, I'm like,
Well,
Worth it.
that's more of an ability.
Worth
I mean, let's see how much his
Worth it.
personality changes. The
I
dark
mean,
part of
Yeah.
the
it's
dark ones
literally
work strange.
they're even told you can't use it. Like you can't. You're not supposed to
No,
use the
get
book.
back.
Oh, he uses it. Like I get it because it was for the fate of the universe, but he's using the power again.
Well, he
And
did do
he's
that
hi-
in
and
the
he's
first
holding it a
Doctor
secret.
Strange. He does kind of do that a lot.
He does kind of do
That's
that a
kinda
lot,
his
where he
thing.
like gives up. He compromises on his morals a bit to save the universe and all that.
Yeah,
Yeah, he does that quite a bit.
that's kind of like his MO.
Hypocrisy.
Yeah, it does. It does. Baron
I
Mordo.
mean, even Wanda said it too. She's
You're right.
like, hypocrite.
That's his
Yeah.
name, right? Baron Mordo. The
Baron
others-
Mordo.
But
Yeah,
it's Mordo. Yeah.
yeah.
So we got a different one in this one, but he's essentially the same character. I feel like. I mean, like they behave pretty
I
similarly.
feel like he was less of a character.
He was less angry. He had resentment towards
Yeah.
Strange, but he had less of a vendetta against him because he's already Sorcerer Supreme and does things his way.
Yeah, we didn't really get like a good look at
What he was
what
all
he's
about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to see the OG one. Like, is he gonna play a role in the third one? Have they wiped that clean? Because one of the contrasts I want to make is that the first Doctor Strange came out in 2006, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, 2016.
2016, sorry. Yeah, and that was like what?
8 years ago.
No, 6 years ago at this point. I believe.
Oh yeah, 6.
Right?
Yeah.
22 minus 16. I think it's 6. Anyway, I'm saying so much has happened
Yeah.
since then in terms of like the world building and how crazy stakes have gotten. It's like, is there even room for that story anymore? How are they gonna fold him in? We're
Right,
now in the
yeah.
multiverse now. Like, who cares about that plot point from like 6 years ago? Like, what happened to him?
Mhm.
What's he up to? Has he found his peace? Like, what's going on with him? I don't know. It's just such a departure from how grounded, if you can call the first Doctor Strange grounded, like how far that was, and that here we are post No Way Home and Endgame and all these crazy big events.
Mhm.
It seems like Strange is going through a growth spurt faster than his clothes can keep up with him. That's what it feels like. I don't know.
Yeah,
to make
yeah,
a
I
weird
get you.
analogy.
Yeah.
That's something interesting. Let's see. The score was on point, but like, guys, that musical scene, talk to me. How did you like that?
Oh, dude, that was
the
awesome.
musical
That was
fighting
like
scene?
one of the best magic scenes in the movie.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Bro,
Yeah.
they were literally fighting with music.
Imagine weaponizing notes.
Battle of the bands.
Seriously, I was
I-
ready for it.
It was like a Scott Pilgrim like finale, basically.
It's
Crazy.
616 Strange is lucky there was like basically a whole freaking band room in that one Strange's
Yeah.
sanctum, man. There's a lot of instruments they're going, like pianos and
I like
harps.
the one little note that he threw to throw him off.
Yeah. yeah. It was good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of talked about the Ultron bots. Who do you think the Doctor Strange equivalent was in that one universe with the Illuminati? Do you think it was just like Pym, like how it is in the comics, or do you think it was like Reed Richards?
you
Like who
mean,
made the Ultron bots?
Tony Stark.
Yeah.
You said Doctor Strange.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, Tony Stark. Like who's that equivalent
Yeah.
in the Illuminati universe?
I guess it would be Reed Richards unless they had an Ant-Man that
Yeah.
died.
That died or something?
But,
I thought that was
yeah, I
curious.
don't know.
Maybe.
But the Ultron bots, they're so strong.
You
and
know,
then
I
Wanda
thought
just
would've been
tore through
cool.
'em. What's up?
If they went to like, since they didn't jump a lot to multiverses, like, well, they did literally like in that when they were just
Right,
falling.
that montage.
Yeah, in that montage, but like they kind of stayed in that Pizza Papa's one.
I love that one. That was such a good
Bruce
cameo.
Campbell.
I love
Yeah,
that
was
cameo.
good. But I thought would have been cool if they saw the Spider-Man Strange. There's a Spider-Man Strange.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
on
right.
Ultimate Spider-Man, he like puts on like the cape and like takes over for Strange. And I thought it would have been cool if like, oh, I'm just substituting for him today. Yeah.
Mhm.
How can I help you? But Sony and yeah, it would never happen.
The
But
Pizza Papa.
I thought it would be cool, especially since director Sam Raimi was in it.
Right.
And another kid pointed out it would have been cool to see like not the Tobey Maguire like Spider-Man cage fight,
Mhm.
but like if Bruce Campbell was like an announcer in like one of like the stadiums, like a fighting ring or something,
Which fight ring? Where would that be?
like anywhere in the movie, like if they wanted to like put it in.
I don't know. I think the thing about Bruce Campbell's cameos is that they thrive on being unique and different. It would
That's
be
true.
kind of weird to revisit an obscure cameo from, well, not obscure, but a cameo from like 2001.
Yeah.
Like, it was a product of its time. You know what I mean? So I don't think you just go back just to play it and
We can agree to disagree.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm sure maybe he'll do it again in another movie, but not this one. How did you guys think about? How do you feel about Sam Raimi coming back? This is like his first superhero directorial thing since like Spider-Man 3, I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
So how did you guys feel about his style, his touch on the movie? I mean, how did you guys like that?
Definitely, I felt the previous like movies that he's done, like
Mhm.
especially his Ash versus Evil Dead, the
Yeah, that came
darkness
through.
ones.
That came through.
I felt like the same like kind of whole vibe to it.
Mhm.
Like it was like a fun movie that they were like, yeah, we can kill off all these people.
Yeah.
It's multiverse, man. Like, yeah,
Yeah. Who cares?
they're at stake, but it's cool, man.
But yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Did you like the elements he employed? And
Yeah,
The
yeah. I
style.
mean, like I said, it kind of reminded like a stranger's relationship with Rachel kind of reminded me
Oh, Spider-Man.
of yeah, Spider-Man back in 2002.
Mm-hmm.
Um and but other than that, like I don't really have any Sam Raimi
Oh, isms or whatever.
movies to I haven't seen any movies other
Yeah.
than those.
No, he did the horror really well. I really enjoyed all of that. It was nice seeing like again going back to magic. It was nice seeing things like Wanda being trapped in like a mirror dimension and like those spikes and like how she
Mhm.
has to get out of it using her magic.
Yeah, that was cool.
Coming out of
Like,
that gong all nasty and
yeah, using
contorted.
the reflections.
That was disgusting.
Did they get like a stunt double for that or something?
I'm sure it was CG. It looked a little wonky.
I was like,
It looked a little weird. They could have gotten a contortionist, but I don't think they did it.
That would've been
I don't think they went the extra mile for that. You know, this is a big movie. We don't have time for that. But like I was saying, this movie was a bunch of different things, and you know, depending, I still enjoyed it. Like thoroughly, like I had a good time. I'm interested to see what that 2 hour and 40 minute director's cut is all about.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I want to see what all that's about. Yeah,
what?
yeah. Raimi had a bigger cut here. I don't know. This movie was a lot of different things, so I think that's what turned a lot of people off. And I still strongly feel like either it was overhyped or they showed too much in the trailer. Like they showed too much of what was going on, so there was
Yeah.
less room for surprise. Granted,
Mhm.
how do you market a movie like this that's kind of all over the place? But at the same time, I don't know. The balance wasn't struck for me. But I don't know. What do you think overall, Damon? Give me a rating.
A rating on the movie?
Give me a rating.
Like overall,
Like overall,
I give it an 8,
an 8. Yeah,
8.5.
that's par for the course. What do you
pretty
think,
good.
man?
Pretty
You've
good
seen it
movie.
twice now.
Yeah. I think an 8.
I'm thinking like 7.5, maybe 8.
Yeah.
It teeters and totters. Depends on the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think like what could have been better, and like when I think throughout the movie, like it made sense. Like I followed through with it. I understood
Yeah.
what was happening.
Yeah.
But it's just like even though it had that Sam Raimi feel to it and it was good, I don't know. There's just some things in it like the superheroes durability for one.
Yeah.
I was like,
I
I
would've-
get it, but
I would
They
have
died
liked
too
to.
quick.
I'm glad we learned a little bit about America Chavez, but it would have been nice to have more of a chance to
get
get to know her and like more of her personality and what she's about besides just being on a run and having 2 moms. Or
Yeah, they
parents.
kind of just
Like,
threw us in it.
that was just kind
Yeah.
of like, okay, that's
Yeah,
your
and
whole
that whole
personality.
scene too just kind of like
It didn't
felt-
really hit. Felt kind of empty.
Yeah, it felt empty because like it was just based off of the fact that they were in a universe that
That
has
had
the
a little
technology to
DVR
look at your
for your
memories.
memories, and I think that was the weakest device because it's like
Mhm.
I almost would have preferred a flashback because I want to see it like in the moment, you know, like them living through it. It could have just
Yeah.
been her telling him, but I guess it wasn't a natural way to do that. And you know, might as well use the multiverse to have a machine that has that. But I don't know, it was just kind of lame. I mean, I'm glad we got to see the watch thing from Strange and like how you got the watch from Christine.
Yeah, that
And,
was
like
nice.
the sentiment
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah.
That made his story stronger to me because he
Mhm.
was dealing with that in the back of his mind.
Oh, I went to the bathroom during the scene, but what was that evil strange when they were fighting with notes? What universe was that? It was like
Um,
everything was collided in.
Yeah, it was one of the collapsed universes. It was one of the universes in which Strange succeeded in getting like the Darkhold and I think like messed everything up, something like that.
Yeah.
right?
What did
It was kind of like the What If universe. but not really.
Christine call
No, it's
call
not the
it
What If.
when
It's
the
not
two
the one, but I'm saying it's a similar
when
incident.
the two timelines collide?
Convergence or something.
Yeah,
Or
convergence.
something
I
like
think that's
that.
what it was.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and how like the Charlize Theron's little post mid credit scene character has to help Strange clean that up too. 'Cause
Right,
he's been
right.
dabbling too much with the events of No Way Home and then this movie. There's
Mhm.
too much of that going on, and I wonder if that's gonna be the future device with like maybe all the universes collapse and like we get everybody from all these different properties finally on one cinematic universe through like Secret Wars or something. I'm sure that's
Mhm.
what they're building towards. That's their next little like, Infinity Saga. But
Right, right.
yeah, I wonder where we go from there. I wonder how much of the multiverse is gonna be touched on in movies like Thor: Love and Thunder and stuff like that. Because I heard that there was a deleted scene of like Gore the God Butcher and stuff like that that was supposed to be in
Oh yeah, yeah. He was
Yeah.
gonna have some references. in
and some
movies.
other stuff too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I wonder where it's all going.
I have a question.
What's up?
So America like allows her to travel between multiverses, but
Sure.
like, is everything like one time period or
Like one timeline?
Yeah,
Like a
like if
universal time?
she jumps to a like a timeline, like, or I mean a universe, like what if it's in like the 50s or the prehistoric age? She jumps to like the future, and it's like, how does she control like? Can she control like when and where she can go in time in the multiverse?
I think
or
it's
no?
implied she only has control over where she physically is. I don't think she has control over time. And if I were to wager, I'd say
Yeah.
that
And wait, is
all
it-
universes happen at the same time.
Oh,
Because think about it. How could
Time is relative.
time is
mm.
relative? But I'm saying like, let's
Yeah.
say like there's
Oh,
a
man.
start and there's an end. Let's say, like, for the sake of argument, there's a start and there's an end to every universe.
Sure. Yeah.
Let's say, like, wherever events line up, like it's like it's relatively in sync. You know what I mean? If there's like if point X like Thanos happened, well then you jump to another universe and Thanos either is about to happen or it just happened, depending on how far away you are from the initial X.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
Mm.
So I think you're right. Time is relative in our in our universe, in the real world. But I think it's for the sake of like plot, everything's relatively happening at the same time. You know what I mean?
Well,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, if she can't control it, she can only travel physically where she is on Earth to that same spot, right?
No, but she has control over her space time coordinates. Is I think what it's implied.
Oh, okay. So she
Because she
won't
can
like
jump to different
she won't
parts on
show
the
up to like
planet.
an Earth full of zombies.
That's entirely possible. I mean, what I'm trying to say here is that she can portal like kind of like Doctor Strange can. She can go to different parts of different worlds and universes.
Yeah.
As well as just jump between the same point, same physical part of Earth in different universes too.
Okay.
I'm sure they'll get more into it next
Because like
movie.
I was thinking about it, like, what if she jumps on like an Earth, but like in this reality, like there's no atmosphere.
Yeah, and she like straight up just dies instantly.
Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm sure for the sake of plot, her abilities won't
kill her.
warp her to an uninhabitable place.
Well, they did.
You know what I mean?
They
Yeah.
did send her and her and Strange to that slime world where they were
Yeah.
all.
Paint.
The paint world.
Yeah.
And there wasn't there like an underwater world where they had to hold
Yeah,
their
that
breath
one,
and something like that.
they're
Yeah, I
sharks,
think so.
too. That was crazy.
Maybe this does come with risks. Maybe you can just jump
Maybe.
onto the surface of the moon and be like, whoops, and just die or whatever.
Yeah, because they were underwater and everything.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, finally, I guess talk about that very, very end credit scene. Did you like the little Bruce Campbell cameo again?
I didn't like it at the end. But,
Well,
I mean, it's funny, like just in general.
listen, I liked it better than that stupid Captain America one. Where he's like, oh, let's talk about expectations and patience. Yeah,
Yeah.
I hated that. That was condescending.
That was.
I like that one.
Nah,
more.
that was
That was
dumb.
literally like a laugh in your face.
That was like that
This
was.
one
I,
stupid.
I
was,
liked it more just because it was the first one to do that,
Oh, I see. Okay,
and
Novel.
because it's Chris Evans playing Captain America.
I suppose.
That makes sense.
And he was like, "How many more of these?"
How many more of these we got? Yeah, I hear you. All right, well, that's our collective review of Doctor Strange 2, Electric Boogaloo. For Media Munchers, I'm Mathan.
I'm Adrian.
Now I'm Damien.
That's right. And we'll catch you guys in the next one. Deuces.